We're losing a generation.
That's what this is.
Yes. You can see it so clearly when you look and you see Americans from all walks of life, all states, all communities.
70,000 fentanyl deaths.
Every background possible.
Golly.
Penalty is going to be imposed on people from China that make fentanyl and send it into our country. I believe that's going to happen soon. Today we strike a righteous blow to the dealers, narcotic traffickers, and criminal cartels that we've all been hearing so much about for so many years, and very little has been done.
President Trump has just declared an all-out war on the cartels after new numbers reveal.
Ah, shit. We finna go to war with that.
POTUS dropped the hammer on the cartels, standing beside grieving victims' parents, holding photos of their loved ones. That was a moment that made it clear this fight has become personal. Trump called it a righteous blow against the cartels, and in this video, you're going to see why that's exactly what it is. Meanwhile, across the border, Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, is under fire for how she's handling the fight. Many people say her approach is helping the cartels more than it's hurting them. But is that really the case? Or is there something more going on in the background that the...
Man, who y'all got, the U.S. military or the cartel, man? Gee, I know they crossed that border, it's over with. That's for shit, yo.
The world doesn't know? When you hear a number like 70,000 deaths a year, it can feel distant, like just another statistic, right? But in reality, that's a death toll higher than all U.S. military casualties in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan combined. And behind every one of those numbers are real faces and heartbreaking stories from victims' families.
It's the honor of my life to be here, and Drew.
And fentanyl so scary because all you gotta do is touch it, and it's lice.
Drew was the happiest day of my life was when he was born.
You don't gotta just smoke it. You don't gotta just take it in a pill. You touch it, it could be over with.
Ruined, I thought, my life, and every parent back here that I meet and in the audience, some of my friends, their life is gutted when they lose a kid. There's despair and there's hopelessness.
1 year ago today, on July 16th, I stood in front of America and told the story of my son Weston at the RNC, and about how he was a beautiful, loving, had a wonderful life. We did everything right, but one pill, one mistake given by a friend under peer pressure took his life.
In 2024, former DEA Administrator Ann Milgram began filling the lobby of DEA headquarters with photos of the victims, a wall of faces that makes the crisis impossible to ignore.
Every background possible. We have folks in military uniforms. We've got babies.
Oh my God.
You can
Someone
see.
who just picks up a pill that a parent dropped.
Yes.
So now, Trump has had enough, and on this day, he signed a new law that completely changed the rules in America's war on narcotics. It's called the HALT Fentanyl Act, and it does two big things cartels hate. First, it makes every fentanyl-related substance permanently a Schedule I drug. That's the same category as heroin. It means the government sees it as dangerous, addictive, and having no medical use. Now, that alone is a big deal, but it's the second part that really has traffickers sweating.
Hold on, what's the second part?
We are officially and permanently classifying all fentanyl-related substances as Schedule I narcotics, which is actually a very big deal. It doesn't sound like much. It's a big deal, as they will tell you. Meaning anyone caught trafficking these illicit poisons will be punished with a mandatory 10-year minimum sentence in prison.
And if that is big enough, they could be looking...
I'll say 20, but we'll go with it though.
Trump called it a righteous blow to narco dealers and cartels, and he meant it. Under this law, anyone caught can lose not just their freedom, but everything they own: cars, houses, money, even legitimate businesses bought with profits. Before now, we've seen these criminals taking plea deals and getting off with a slap on the wrist, but according to Attorney General Pam Bondi, those days are long gone.
They're flooding our cities with a weapon of mass destruction, fentanyl. And when we catch you, like all of these individuals, if convicted, we will put you behind bars. There will be no negotiating, and we will lock you up for as long as humanly possible.
And the first real test of this new law came fast, in the form of the biggest fentanyl bust in American history. And it didn't just make headlines, it sent shockwaves through every cartel network operating in the United States. Not long after the HALT Act became law, federal agents pulled off a narco bust that rewrote the record books. It was so huge that President Trump called it.
Since my inauguration,
I ain't hear about this. What's this one?
over 4,500 pounds of fentanyl, which is a record, including with the enormous Sinaloa cartel bust in May, one of the toughest cartels out there, the largest fentanyl bust ever in United States history.
The takedown stretched across 5 states: New Mexico, Arizona,
5
Utah,
states,
Nevada, and Oregon. By the time it was over, agents had seized more than 3 million fentanyl pills, along with 11 to
3 million. Ooh wee. Nah. Whoever lost this much drugs, your whole family has been wiped. Oh hell no. Don't even go back to Mexico. Don't even take a step in Mexico. It's over with for your
12 kilograms.
If you ever get released, you might as well go as far north as possible.
All didn't stop there. They also recovered 49 firearms, including automatic rifles and untraceable
Switches
and more than $500,000 in cash. In Albuquerque alone, the discovery revealed more than just drugs. It exposed the highly organized structure of the network behind them. At the center of the first conviction was Alex Anthony Martinez, a man prosecutors described as a regional manager for the Sinaloa cartel. Now, make no mistake, this guy was not your average low-level trafficker.
He is the leader, and he was living in Salem, Oregon. With him, they got millions of dollars, cash, cars, but the drugs were in Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Utah. That's how insulated these dealer cartel leaders make themselves.
Oh, you thought they was bullshit? You thought this was a gang? No, this structure, this ain't just no gang members on the street and running around doing what they doing. No, sir. No, sir, I ain't getting caught. That's what they thinking. I ain't getting caught. You going to catch me.
Call him the regional manager, and according to the DEA, he oversaw distribution in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Hobbs, directing other dealers and ensuring the flow of product across his territory. According to Attorney General Bondi, the case against him was built over months of coordinated work between federal, state, and local agencies.
This operation was made possible by over 55,000 hours of law enforcement investigation. And this is a really dangerous job that these DEA agents face every day, but they are getting very dangerous drugs off of our streets each day.
But investigators didn't go straight for Martinez. They started with small buys from low-level dealers, gradually moving up the chain. Each arrest.
That's how you got to do it. That's the best way to do it.
Coordinated work between federal, state, and local agencies. The pieces came together. By the time they reached Martinez, they had mapped out a large part of the cartel's U.S. operation. In April 2020.
Ain't gonna lie, the U.S. and our military down there, bro, I give it less than a month, and we on, man, you know we finna do to them. We talking RPGs, dogs, man, we talking tanks, we talking crazy shit now. Like, hold on. One bomb strike and it's raps.
25, Martinez went to trial. The proceedings lasted 6 days, but the verdict came quickly. The jury deliberated for just 8 hours before finding him guilty. Under the new sentencing laws, he now faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison.
An Albuquerque man is facing life behind bars for his role in a massive trafficking operation. Alex Anthony Martinez was convicted in federal court of conspiracy and possession with the intent
It's a lot of fucking pills, boy. Shit.
to distribute fentanyl. The DOJ says he worked as a, quote, regional manager in a multi-state fentanyl trafficking network. Last year, agents searched a stash house in northeast Albuquerque. They found 150,000 fentanyl pills, 72,000 in cash, and multiple firearms.
So, while the courtroom battles play out in the U.S., the real engine behind the fentanyl crisis is still running, and it's running in Mexico. For the Sinaloa cartel and others, fentanyl is what they call a miracle product. And you know why? Well, that's because this thing
A
is 50
miracle.
times stronger than heroin, incredibly cheap to produce, and its profit margins are enormous. Additionally, the chemistry is simple enough that it doesn't require a massive lab. A small house or even a kitchen can be converted into a production site.
They got their crack. Mexico got their own version of crack. That's what I'm hearing. So fentanyl pills the crack, huh? This shit like crack in the 80s, boy.
All it takes is the right precursor chemicals, most of which are shipped in from China, often hidden in legitimate cargo, or mailed in small packages to avoid detection. Once the chemicals arrive, the cartels can turn them into powder or press them into pills, designed to look like legitimate pharmaceuticals. Now the crazy thing is, these pills are often stamped to mimic prescription medications like Xanax, Adderall, or even MDMA tablets. And make no mistake, that deception is not a mistake.
I know y'all getting paid, but this is evil, bro. I'm telling you. Nah, this the devil. Y'all want to talk about the devil? This the devil. You tricking people with fake pills just for some cash? Man.
It's deliberate. Buyers would think they're taking one thing, but in reality, they're getting fentanyl, and in many cases, a fatal dose. Now, control over the trade is built on control of the border. One of the cartel's most important strongholds is Nogales, a busy crossing into Arizona. Every day, thousands of vehicles pass through carrying produce, manufactured goods, and hidden among them are fentanyl shipments. In this area, the Sinaloa cartel has eyes everywhere. They monitor who comes in and out, including law enforcement, and use their network to warn traffickers of any potential trouble. Their smuggling methods have been refined over decades. While most narcotics move across the border above ground, many still travel through tunnels and hidden routes. In Nogales, police showed journalists a cross-border drainage system running under the city. From above, it looks ordinary, but inside, it's a hidden highway for contraband. Smaller tunnels from nearby houses once connected directly to this drain, allowing traffickers to drop their loads inside and have them retrieved on the U.S. side.
Wow, and there's so many of them.
And I'm not being racist, but what's so crazy is you got so many Latino people that's in the construction business. It really ain't shit for them to do that. All they gotta do is work at night. They start drilling at night, man. They building tunnels all through there.
I guess that shows you just how desperate people are just to get across and to bring drugs across the border.
Es sorprendente, es sorprendente, increíble. También yo como autoridad, difícil de creerlo. Es como si fuera alguna película o algo ciencia ficción.
Authorities have sealed many of these entry points, but the sheer number of patched up spots tells you how many attempts have been made. And when tunnels are too risky, the cartels adapt.
The cartels don't sell fentanyl as fentanyl. They hide it in other drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, or heroin. They make it into these fake pills that look identical to pharmaceutical drugs that Americans would recognize, like Oxy or Xanax, Percocet, Adderall. It will be a very massive high that is very short. And that person, they're betting, if they survive, will come back again and again and again to buy more.
A single car can conceal millions of pills if they're packed right. With such high traffic, it's like searching for a needle in a haystack, and the cartels know it. So, they use that chaos to their advantage. But the game has changed now, because it's not just Mexican authorities watching the border anymore. In recent months, U.S. military vehicles and surveillance systems have appeared on the American side, sometimes just a few feet from
Yeah, let's get on their ass. Come on, I'm with this. Hell yeah. This is where the tax dollars need to go.
Well, the armored military vehicles have been deployed to the El Paso and Big Bend Border Patrol sectors. The Border Patrol chief, El Paso sector, and the BP posted this video on Instagram yesterday. Officials say that these Army strikers will help agents track illegal border crossings and battle trafficking.
These bad boys are fitted with state-of-the-art sensors that can detect even the smallest movement. Covert American drone flights over Mexican territory have also increased, tracking cartel movements in real time. The pressure is real, and people inside the cartel know it. One Sinaloa contact, referred to as Manuel, to protect his identity, admitted that the business is getting riskier.
This man, who we'll call Manuel,
says they're under real pressure.
So it's right now, the thing is crazy. O sea, it's fucked up. Y la gente está espantada. Pues para venirse para acá.
Are you scared of getting caught?
Pues también. Pues sí, también.
Still, the profits are hard to walk away from. He even showed reporters 25 fentanyl pills worth about $200. That's just a handful, yet enough to cause multiple overdoses if the potency is high. This combination of low production cost, high potency, and nearly unlimited demand makes fentanyl the perfect product for cartels. And because they can produce it in-country without relying on seasonal crops like opium poppies or coca plants, they can operate year-round without interruption. But as production and smuggling intensify, so does the violence surrounding it. Border towns have become battlegrounds, and cartel factions fight over smuggling routes with the same ferocity as armies fighting over territory.
This is the moment DHS says an off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer is ambushed and shot late Saturday by a man with a deportation order. Authorities believe
He shot a
two men who
off-duty?
approached on a scooter were attempting to rob the 42-year-old officer.
Hold on, he put up on that man on a scooter.
Two senior law enforcement sources say it appears to be a random encounter.
This war is now spilling over into
Damn.
politics, drawing the Mexican president directly into the center of the conflict. When Claudia Sheinbaum became Mexico's first female president in October 2024, she inherited a country drowning in cartel violence and staring down an impatient neighbor to the north. Security was one of her biggest campaign promises, and she came into office talking tough. But the real pressure began when Donald Trump returned to the White House and put fentanyl at the top of his agenda. Trump's message to Mexico was blunt: stop the flow of fentanyl or face crippling tariffs and possible U.S. military action. For Sheinbaum, this was more than a policy dispute. It was a test of leadership under international and domestic pressure. But in response, she deployed 10,000 Mexican troops to the U.S. border with the promise that they would remain there permanently. She also oversaw high-profile raids, cartel boss arrests, and the destruction of fentanyl labs across the country. Trump initially praised her, saying he liked her and respected her willingness to act. But the relationship was never built on trust, because just a few weeks later, Sheinbaum publicly rejected Trump's offer to send U.S. troops into Mexico. Here's what Trump about her after that.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says Mexico's sovereignty is not for sale. Now President Trump says she's afraid of the cartels.
Honestly, many
Of course she
people,
is.
especially in the United States, see President Sheinbaum the same way. But organized crime expert Guadalupe Correa Cabrera broke down President Sheinbaum's position in a way that made it much clearer. She pointed out that Sheinbaum is a scientist, a liberal politician, and a feminist who knows how to manage her public image. She distances herself from Trump in her rhetoric, while still taking actions that show cooperation, keeping the political temperature from boiling over.
What do you think of how she manages President Trump?
She manages President Trump very well. She is a woman that also plays in her favor, and she knows how to respond. You know, she confronts Trump, but not in a way that seems that it is a fight. She does it with respect.
Correa Cabrera says this balancing act has helped her remain extremely popular inside Mexico. However, many people think that her tactics may not be as effective as they look. Yes, border seizures of narcotics have dropped, which Sheinbaum believes is proof that her strategy is working. But that may not actually be the case, because as Correa Cabrera
It's
said,
definitely
the
not
decline
working.
could just as easily mean cartels have shifted tactics.
President Sheinbaum said her strategy of cracking down on fentanyl is working because border seizures of fentanyl is down.
I mean, if we focus on that number, we don't really know what is going on. If
I
we
mean,
think-
that they could just be getting away with it more. You know? Man, I don't know though. I'm all for this though. Let's stop all this moving, all of it. All of it.